You know, I don't know to give the good or the middle or the bad first. So let me just, whatever comes to me. Because, again, I hold myself accountable to trying to understand both sides and seeing both sides. So I'll start with the good. I understand that the Tyson people, lovers out there, they're going to have seen what they wanted to see. They saw their guy. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that it was preordained that it was going to be a draw. That they told to, I can't believe they allowed gambling because I know somebody who bet $200 on a draw and won $1,200. So I don't know how that was allowed because it was fixed. There's no doubt that was fixed. That they said, look, we'll make it a draw to get around all the complaints about the commission, about it's supposed to be an exhibition. We're breaking the rules. It's really supposed to be an exhibition. Not supposed to be judges. We're breaking the rules. Not supposed to be a decision. We're breaking the rules. So that's at least not. The commission must have said, look, don't rub our face in it. We're letting this go. Make it a draw. So they made it a draw. All right, that's my opinion. But again, if you guys aren't still in a little bit of a haze from all the smoke that night, you might agree with me.
A purple haze.
Okay? All right. Let's get that out of the way. Tyson, their guy, the people that love Tyson, did what they want him to do. That's our guy. He beat Roy. He's our guy. And he beat up Roy. He won. And he did. He won. And he looked good. For them, he looked good. Because they want him to look good. Because he's their guy. You got to remember, it's kind of like when you were a kid and you were flipping cards, baseball cards. Some people like Mickey Mantle, some people like Willie Mays, some people like, you had to, and you're trading cards. That's my guy. He's on my team. That's my guy. No, he's better. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, whatever, Kobe Bryant, or Shaq, whoever. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar compared to Shaq, different guy. But that's my guy. It was about their guy. Tyson represent a part of their life, a segment of their life that their guy was the baddest man on the planet. Their guy! That's my guy, baby! And if he was around when they were around, that makes their time better than someone else's time. Because I was around when my guy was around, and he was the best. And that was the best time because I was with him. And that's what it's about. That's a big part of what it's about. About their guy. And they got what they wanted. It's not about context. It's not about saying, hey, wait, your guy just beat up a half a century-year-old guy, just like your guy that, looked like maybe he could have used a chiropractor during the night, right? A little bit. But, and a guy that was a middleweight champ, tremendous fighter, Roy Jones, but he was a middleweight at his best. I know he went to light heavy, but he was a middle. I know he went up for a cup of coffee to beat Ruiz,
Johnny Ruiz, Somerville guy.
For the heavyweight title, and that hurt him because he put that weight on. Some people think he was never the same when he came back down.
I would agree with that.
Tarver and Johnson after that, right? But Roy Jones at his best was a middleweight, and it was a lock that Tyson was going to look better. Now, I'm not being a Monday morning quarterback. I don't do that. Go to the videotape. Go to the videotape. You always have tape to prove stuff. Go to our fight plan. I said he would look better. I picked him to win. I picked him, I think, to knock out Jones. He didn't do that. But I picked him to win. Why? Because Jones would be hurt more by the deterioration of time and age than Tyson because of their styles. Where Jones depended on athleticism. He depended on speed, timing, quickness.
Reflexes.
He depended on reflexes. Reflexes, timing, speed, all that stuff gets eroded, tremendously eroded and damaged by Father Time. And he was a guy, and I've said it throughout his career, that was special, Jones. He did things wrong and made them right. The only other guy I knew who did that was Ali. Ali's in his own, category. But Ali would drop his hands, pull back. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to slip, weave, block. No, Ali went to his own drummer, did everything wrong, and made it right. Special guy. Special this and physically, genetics. Jones was the closest thing to that. He did things wrong, he made it right. Here's the problem. When you get older, you no longer have the reflexes to make wrong right. And then wrong stays wrong. It stays wrong. It doesn't get transformed into right anymore because you don't have those reflexes and those eyes and timing, and you don't have that anymore. And now Tyson had power like George Foreman. Power doesn't leave. Speed, all those other things, but power stays. It maintains. It lasts the test of time, more so. So he had that. And now some people are going to say Jones was a good puncher, but it was associated, was connected with speed and with timing. And he's naturally a smaller guy. But Tyson had the attributes, physical attributes, that would stand a little bit of the test of time. Power and technique. He was taught things kind of like James Toney. James Toney was able to last pretty old. He abused himself with his weight. That destroyed him, going up and down 230 pounds, coming back. That hurt him physically. But he was able to maintain himself at a later age to a certain extent because of his technique was there, even when his reflexes were gone and some of the other attributes were gone. And that's what I talked about in the fight plan. And that was it. That Tyson would look better and be better because he was taught technique. And the technique doesn't get dissolved. From the ravages of time do not obliterate technique. Technique is taught. You could be 80, and if you're taught technique, you can still exhibit that technique. You can. What changes is to what level you can use it in that arena physically. Because your physical attributes start disintegrating and leaving you. So what changes is at what level you can perform that technique. At what physical level you're still able to perform that technique because of the age that you're at now. Because of obviously the erosion of those physical abilities. So inside that arena, how that technique how high a level that technique can perform at depends on physically what's left. And the power stays. So when you can put the power in the technique, and that's still there, and like I said, you could be 80 if you take care of yourself, 85, and you still can go out there and exhibit good technique if it was taught to you. That's where Tyson had the big advantage over Jones and was going to look better. Because he was going to be using something that's not going to get eaten up by time. Jones was going to be holding on to something that time took away. And it showed. I'm not trying to be disparaging, but when Jones hobbled around, trying to, I mean, it didn't look good because the technique wasn't there. Because it was him still trying to do a combination, a hybrid, if you will, of what he used to do and what he could do now. With no where to take it other than, try in splashes and spots to try to move and show something that just couldn't be done anymore at this point. Where again, the technique of Tyson connected with just the physical power can still look at a certain level like something that's efficient. And it did against, again, people aren't going to put it into context. It was done against a guy that we just finished talking about, against that kind of guy. And so in that way, Tyson won. Tyson looked better. Tyson gave his people what they wanted in that way. But if you look at it, the whole picture in a sober, unemotional way, I mean, you saw two old guys that, in some ways, it was comical.